Good morning, Jim Hodges here, Rachel here, and Daisy. Daisy is a 10-month-old English Retriever, beautiful dog, very affectionate, very happy, loves other people, loves to run and play. That's all great, that's fantastic. She wants to come back to her owner most times, but there's times not, and we're going to talk about that in our video here. What we want to do is go through the obedience, show the proper commands, and address a few things that we have seen in her 2-week stay here. When you're ready, Rachel, let's do the let's go.
Let's go.
Notice how Rachel encouraged her. It's so important that we encourage our dogs. We're trying to bond with them, but we want to be excited with them. Daisy's job is to stay right beside Rachel on a loose leash. If you'll look at Rachel's leash handle, it is very loose. If it's tight, she realizes that you're controlling her, okay? But when you have it loose, she's learning that she needs to be with you. I hope that makes sense. That's why we practice all the time with a tight leash. If you ever want to go off leash, you have to have a loose leash. And I said practice all the time with a tight leash. I meant with a loose leash. Okay, very good. So understand what I'm talking about. Loose leash like what she's got now, maybe a little shorter when you're actually walking or closer to Daisy's neck. Now if Daisy starts to wander off from that being beside you, we're going to tap the leash typically back to the hip, okay? And we're going to do that and we're going to praise her. We'll say, no, let's go. Then we come back and praise. Consequence is so important. Dogs live in the physical world. They live in the physical world, so we need to live in their physical world as well. But what we do is we associate our words with our touch. So when she's good, we're going to praise her. We may give her a treat, but we're always going to try to praise with touch, praise with words, and then maybe a treat or a toy. And we try to do those in the moment. When we provide a consequence, the consequence is designed not to intimidate, dominate, break her spirit, hurt her, or have her fear us, okay? But we want to do that with the tap of the leash and no at the same time. We're only going to tap as hard as we need to. Typically, we're not going to ever tap hard enough for her to be worried about what's going on, okay? That's why we have to be consistent. The tap is going to be more of a snap, okay? Rachel, demonstrate the little snap. It's a tap and release. It's not a pull. If we go back to what I was just talking about, the let's go, we want a loose leash. And when we have to tap, we tap it and release it. It's so important when we're doing the let's go and any other command that we give the command first before we do anything physically. A lot of people like to take the leash and tap it and say let's go at the same time. Well, what we're doing is we're using that physical touch to teach her to go, where we want our voice to be able to do it. Again, if we want any hope for her to be able to go off leash or be able to understand what we want inside or in our backyard, fenced backyard, or what have you. Do let's go one more time, Rachel. So she's always beside us, maybe a little behind, but we never want her in front of us. When she gets out in front, she's leading the walk. And just as importantly, she can't see and work with us when we have a problem. She doesn't know what we want when she's in front, okay? When we see somebody walking down the street, we'll stop. We may tell her to sit. Good girl. And now turn back around, Rachel, like you're talking to a neighbor. Now we're talking to a neighbor, but as soon as we put her in a sit, if you've watched any of my videos, we know we don't want to keep her in a sit for a long time. So we'll break her, but we'll still keep her beside us. Our dogs can never ever pull us again on a leash. So with her being right there and you've got a short leash, she's not going to harass the neighbor. She's not going to run off. She's going to be right there beside you. If she wanted to lay down, if she wanted to sit like Daisy's doing right now, that's fine. If she wanted to stand up, fine, but it's going to be right there. Then you can have a conversation. If you actually wanted her to greet the neighbor or the person you see in the street, you would ask them if they wanted to, and then you would tell them to say hey. And you would have that with Daisy. This is not with all dogs, but with Daisy, you would have them approach her, say hey, she pets and loves, and then we're good. So that's let's go. We also did the sit there just a second ago, and Rachel's going to do it here. When she does what we ask, we're walking around, and this is so important with our sessions that we had with Daisy. Know, and with anybody, know the command you're going to give. You're the dog trainer. You're the leader. Right now, it's important that you only give a command when you're in a position to affect that command. What does that mean? That means you know you're going to tell her to sit or down or what have you. Be prepared with the proper action if she does it or if she doesn't do it. The timing is so important. We want to do it in the moment right now. Praise and consequence, it's like flipping a light switch. It's either do it or not do it. We can get easier as time goes on, but right now we're trying to communicate to her what our no means and what our praise means, both physically and verbally. So we can command her away from us when we can't pet her, but with just our words. We're associating that language together. So you notice Rachel's hand signal. She's going to walk around and do it one more time. And see, she's going to be ready in case she doesn't do it. Good girl. Hand signal up. Now she's in a sit. She has to hold that sit until we release her, okay? If she started to get up, we would tell her, show Rachel real light. We tap right up above her head and tell her, no, sit. And then come back with a little bit of praise. We never give as much praise as if she did it right the first time, but we want to reassure her she's doing well. Now we put her in the sit. Some dogs can sit forever. I'm one of these guys that I don't like to keep a dog in a sit for too long. Why? Because I don't want to put that wear on their hips. If you've got a dog that likes to sit for 2 minutes, put them in a sit for 2 minutes. I typically 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. The break, you notice Rachel did the little safe sign like an umpire in a ball game, and she stepped away. That break is a subliminal command, and Rachel stepped away. That break is a subliminal command for Daisy or our dog to come to us. We're teaching come. This is how we teach come in the beginning. We lay the concept for it. And it's also teaching our dog that we're the center of the universe. So we have that hand signal. We have the sit. We know what we're going to do if we don't. Okay, Rachel, let's walk around and maybe do the sit and come back and do the down from the side. Now, we're very positive with our commands, but with the down, I tell people we want to give a little stronger tonation, if you will. Not higher volume, but we want her to know that we want her to down. Did you hear Rachel's tone? I hope you did. It's a little firmer, still not loud, but down is one of the most submissive commands a dog would ever do for its owner. They typically resent it, maybe not so much resent it, but they ignore it and try to resist it. So we use a little stronger down, and when we tell our dog to down, she has to down. She can't move around out of the down. She stays right there. If she was to get up and walk away, we would grab the leash, we would take her back and would tap. No, 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 back to where the down is, and then tap towards the ground, no, down. Show that tap. Break her if you need to and walk around, or just show it that way. So Rachel's left hand is her neck. Watch the tap. And it's a tap. So many people in the down will pull. And when we pull and tell her no, down, she gets up and moves. And we get frustrated, or the owner gets frustrated. It's got to be a tap. That's probably, other than the timing of everything, that's probably one of the hardest consequences that an owner has to deal with in the beginning. Okay? So she did the down, and that was from the side. Her hand signal was by her side. Now let's get her to sit. Now, did you hear Rachel's tone? We're trying to embrace her physically, emotionally, verbally, to want to come up from the sit. I tell everyone that once we get a dog to a down, and they say, yes, I'm going to down from now on, getting them up to the sit is just as difficult as the down. So we work real hard with that sit out of the down. We don't have to do it every time, and that gives me another point. We can go from one command to another. It's important to vary our commands, the time that we keep our dogs in a command, so they have to listen to us. If we do the same thing the same way each and every day, they can just zone out and know what to expect from us. Now, if we can, let's walk her around, put her in a sit, and do the down from in front, because that is a different hand signal. Good girl.
Sit. Good girl. Down.
Good girl. Good girl. Timing is everything. As soon as she hits that ground, you know she's going to hold it. We want to praise. If our praise was to pop her up, we would have to bite her right back down to the no down. Okay? Very important to know that. Now, down means she's there. Okay? She's there until we tell her to get up. Notice Rachel tapped her. We don't want her smelling the ground in the down, but if we tell her to stay, give her the stay. Now we just told Daisy that she can chill, she can smell the ground, she can roll on her side, she can have a bone or a toy, but she's there and doesn't have to pay attention. When we tell our dog to stay, typically with the down stay, I say a minimum of 2 minutes. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world, she has to lay there, okay? If you were to walk off to another room, she got up, we would get her, tap her back to that spot, no, 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 down. We tell her stay and immediately walk back to where we were. It's so important that our dogs do not gain an advantage from breaking our command. So if they move from where our command was and they break that command, we have to provide a consequence and bring them back in praise. Anytime our dog messes up, as long as you've got time, it's important. If she messes up, and there's no perfect being in this world. There's only been one perfect being to ever walk this earth. But if she was ever to break a command, let's spend the time right now and go back and do it again. And what I typically say is we want to try to do it 2 times correct consecutively. So what we're doing is showing her what we want. The 1 time she did it right is not a fluke. The 2 times is right. We will release her and praise her and really let her know that she did a good job. Okay, Rachel, let's go ahead and go. Let's go again.
Let's go, Daisy.
And this time we're going to do the place command. Notice the point, she hits the bed. Notice Rachel, as soon as she got all 4 feet on the bed, that Rachel praised her. Okay, so now she's in the place command. Just like the down, she has to stay there. The only caveat is she can lay down, sit down, stand up. I don't care what she does, as long as she stays there. She can easily do that for a couple of hours or more, okay? Place is a really comfortable command. And again, she can have a bone there if she wants, but if she throws her bone across the room, she really is not supposed to get up and go get it. Same with the down or the sit. If she did get up, you would take her back, no, 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 in the let's go tap, point at the bed and tell her place, good girl again, all right? So that works real well for the praise. When you're ready, let's go ahead and do the load up command. We've already started working with her. She did not load up in the vehicle very well. So what we've done is we start with our little stump there and teach our dog to load up. Believe it or not, that's a really small footprint for her, but it teaches them or gives them confidence that they can do these things. As we begin to load up, then we start teaching to load up in our vehicles. And she did remarkably well. She never could get up. She always waited for Mom to put her up. But when we were working yesterday, she got to the point that she could jump up. It takes confidence. As she gets more and more confident she can do it, she's going to do it with no problem. Okay? So now the last thing I believe, no, we want to do the come command. So set up to do the come command, if you will, however you want to do it. Now watch Rachel. See the target right there? Good girl. We pet her and love her. When she comes, she has to sit and hold it until we release her. All right, in the beginning, we always want to be close like that, okay? In any command, we stay close until we know our dog understands what we want. Then we start to move away and start to put distance between us. If we can, let's do one more come command, a further distance this time. So now we're a little further. Listen to her tone and her excitement trying to get Daisy to come. Steps up. Target, you notice where Rachel's hand was. It's important to keep our target in front of our body, in between our legs, so our dog comes to our hand. If we're using treats, which she has not been really a treat-motivated dog for training, it's been all praise and love and emotion and enthusiasm. If we're using treats, she's coming to that treat, okay? Now, off-leash, and this is important, we like our Daisy to run free, and she's really a pretty good girl, but sometimes she doesn't hear come. It's important to never again tell our dog to come, or really do any command for that matter, unless we know she's going to do it. That's the first priority, or we can provide a consequence if she doesn't. So when Mom and Daisy are out and she's running loose, what we want to do is she's running. If Daisy runs back and checks on her, every time she runs back, we tell her come, we pet her, we release her, and let her go back out and play. We want Daisy to understand that there's nothing wrong, and it's actually a good thing to come back to Mom. But when she is out there, and you want her to come, and we have to practice this in the beginning, hundreds of times. I hate to say that, but so many people don't have a dog that will come to them off leash, so we have to reprogram. We get her attention. Okay, we will shake our hands, we'll have a toy, and then when she commits to coming to us, we tell her to come. You notice Daisy sat with Rachel, okay? And that's to pretend like she didn't have a leash on or she was dragging. But Rachel still gave her target. I don't care if she sits or not, doesn't hurt my feelings at all on off leash. We usually make our dogs do it, but the important thing is for her to come. Now, the other thing about the come is we're not here to provide a consequence. That is so important. When she comes to us, we don't do anything negative. It's important that we love her and we break her again. If we do want her to come to us or want to go somewhere, we take a couple of minutes to break that up. Now, next thing we want to do the heel command. Hand signal straight up. Good. Notice she walked beside and she sat. Do it again. Watch the hand signal. She stepped off, it came back. And that's our job. She stays in the box beside us, and when we stop, she's supposed to sit. Step away. Good. She's supposed to hold that sit. Notice Rachel tapped because she thought she might have gotten up. Come back. Heel one more time, just a few steps. Stop. Step away. Good. All right, so from that point on, I think we've got what we need. If you ever need us, just give us a call, 336-945-3232, JimHodgesDogTraining.com. Thank you so much, and God bless.